What is up, Galaxy? It's time for Bantha Soup. I am your host, Gil Garcia. Today in the Bantha Tank, we are working on another customized display diorama. We are in my workshop. This is my section where I take pictures, I do reviews, I do painting. This is really where I do all my customizations in my building. My little Star Wars shop. Here's some projects yet to come. Got the awesome B-Wing, got a shuttle Tydirium that I'm going to be doing a little review on building it. That'll be pretty fun. But yeah, this is where I keep all my supplies, all my paints, my toolboxes, all that kind of stuff, where I just build and play in the world of Star Wars. There's a drink. It may or may not be adult, but you know, one of those things. But what I wanted to talk about, guys, is I recently changed my dishwasher, and in doing that, I came across all this really cool looking styrofoam. And looking at this styrofoam, dude, I can see some diorama pieces. Like, look at this piece. Doesn't this look like could be a Jedi Council wall or something? This one really intrigued me. That looks like a little garage or something. And the way it's molded, I mean, shoot, doesn't that look like Tatooine, right? Put some sand on that thing, it's Tatooine. Now here is my golden tool that I picked up a couple weeks ago. This is actually a styrofoam cutter, and it's used for like floral displays and stuff like that, but I am going to be using this for customizing this styrofoam, and it's awesome. So it's a little heat gun, turn it up, and just like a lightsaber, baby, slices right through the styrofoam with no problem at all. This is actually super satisfying to look at and do. It's really fun. I mean, you come across all this really cool shaped styrofoam, you can cut it up, make some really cool pieces for your Star Wars action figures. Really easy to use, just be careful not to burn yourself. I mean, look at this piece of styrofoam. Doesn't this already look like a little display diorama? The archways, it's got a little platform on top you can stand some figures on. The molding on the side, it looks like a really cool wall that you could use for your action figures. I'm gonna show you the power of my styrofoam cutter. See this little back end right here? It's kind of messed up and it doesn't really work. So I'm gonna take my little knife and just slice this baby right off. Check it out. With a steady hand, just slice it right on through, and it makes a nice, even, flat cut. Really fun to do. Boom, just like that. Look at that. Got that piece off. Now I can customize this any way I want. So here's where I'm at so far, guys, and I have basically just been playing foam blocks. I'm looking at the styrofoam, I find pieces that look really cool, I cut them out and just fit them together, right? Just like playing Legos or blocks. And I think what I'm coming out with is already looking pretty cool. This is gonna be kind of like a Tatooine landscape for the couple Mandalorian figures that I've got. I've got Cara Dune and Baby Yoda. The Mando's on order, but I wanna make something really cool for them. Now I'm playing with different colors and things like that, but the first thing I've gotta do is put some texture on it. And what I'm gonna use is some stucco. This is some old stucco that I've got. It's a little bit dry, but I think it'll work. And I'm basically just gonna rub it on with my fingers, right? Rub it in to make it look like that sandy rock wall texture of Tatooine. Now I just need to cover this whole piece in this texture and get it ready for painting. Should be pretty cool. So I've got the whole thing covered in stucco, and you can see it's already looking pretty friggin' awesome. I mean, shoot, I honestly might not even have to paint this thing. No, I'm gonna put some paint on it, but it already looks really cool, right? Using that stucco to give it some really cool texture. I love all the little sections on this that I'm going to be able to set up figures. That is just a piece of paper that I printed online. I'm probably going to put a different looking door in that little garage section, but even on the side, really cool hallways, little staircase. You know me, I'm acrylic paint all the way, so I'm going to use this little bit of a darker paint, get my brush and just start brushing it on. But I wanted to show you the technique that I'm going to use, and it's that dry brush technique. So I use a darker coat. Now I'm going with a little bit of a lighter coat. So once I put my first coat on of the darker paint, put some of the light paint on it, dab it up, dry it off on a piece of cloth, and then lightly brush it to highlight it. Give it some good highlights, right? You can already see, the different tone and texture. Now here it is. Here's it all painted up, looking cool. a little bit distressed. You know, the twin suns beating down on this place. You can see I changed that door on the little garage that I'm doing. I think it looks really, really cool. Went in, did the dry brush technique on this whole piece. It's really cool, multimedia. I ended up putting this little kind of canopy thing here to make it look a little bit, you know, like a market square. You know, that's kind of a classic look in Tatooine. So I like the multimedia using cloth and dowel rods and stucco and styrofoam and paper. It's looking sharp. Here's some more printed graphics that I'm toying around playing with, giving it a little bit more detail and, you know, cool things to look at. Here's some really cool small scale size posters that I think would look really cool. Look at that Boonta Eve classic. That's great. Now, they never made a quill, so I had to make my own quill. This is an old Ugnaught from I've had since back in the day, and I just made my own little custom quill. Come on, Hasbro. Fans have to make their own toys. Come on, seriously. But, you know, I put the little helmet on him, made a little, you know, mechanic worker jacket for him. You know, he's got some of those old retro tools that I'm using. And I also had to pre-order my Mandalorian. He's not going to be in until October, so I had to make my own little custom Mando for now. This is just a little, you know, filler, but I think it looks pretty cool. Here's the printed graphics that I ended up putting on some of the places of this piece, and I think it looks cool. It's, you know, just a little bit more detail to look at. I definitely used the Boonta Eve poster. That's classic. I went with the Max Rebo and the Cantina band as well. Some of my favorite bands, right? But I'm really excited to get some figures on this and see what it looks like. I love that the styrofoam has that same curvy Tatooine look, but it's time for the fun part. Let's fill this thing out. This was a really fun build, playing with styrofoam and cutting it up. I know that styrofoam is really bad for the environment, so anytime I can use styrofoam to recycle it and use it for display dioramas and Star Wars figures, it's a win-win in my book. You know, the figures speak for themselves, and setting them up on a really cool display just makes them that much more amazing and puts you right in the world. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see, we would really appreciate a like on our video. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe on YouTube to stay up to date on everything Bantha Soup. We do reviews, we build customs, we talk about everything Star Wars. Galaxy, thank you so much for watching. My name is Gil, and this is Bantha